The purpose of making this list is to help each one of you discover the greatest books, written by the best literary minds of all time. These books have a universal theme, interesting characters, experiences, perspectives, and emotions that are still relevant today. Everyone should read at least once from these 15 books before they die. Some are well-known classics, others are modern giants. All are well worth reading at least once in your life. 1. The Diary of a Young Girl, by Anne Frank. One of the most influential books ever published, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank tells the raw account of her life as she hides from the Nazi soldiers. Despite the circumstances she is facing, she still believes that naturally, people have a good heart, and the world is still full of beauty. It's truly a book that will change your perspective. 2. All About Love, by Bell Hooks. We're taught to think of love as something that happens to us. It's a magical but altogether passive experience. In Bell Hooks' deeply personal and emphatic All About Love, renowned social activist and feminist Bell Hooks assert that, in fact, love is a choice we must all make, and it's not nearly as abstract or elusive as many of us have come to believe. The book not only explores the role of love in our lives and the ways our culture has distorted its meaning, but guides us, with clear definitions and examples, toward a better understanding of how to cultivate it. If you've ever wondered why some relationships stand the test of time while others crumble, you should read this book. I believe this book is very well structured and guided for adults. A must-read for teenagers stepping into being an adult. 3. The Power of Dogs, by Dawn Winslow. From the New York Times best-selling author, Dawn Winslow, this is the first novel in the Explosive Power of the Dog series, an action-filled look at the drug trade that takes you deep inside a world riddled with corruption, betrayal, and bloody revenge. It's the book one of the Power of the Dog series. Set about 10 years prior to the cartel, this gritty novel introduces a brilliant cast of characters. Art Keller is an obsessive DEA agent. The Barrera brothers are heirs to a drug empire. Nora Hayden is a jaded teenager who becomes a high-class hooker. Father Parada is a powerful and incorruptible Catholic priest. Callan is an Irish kid from Hell's Kitchen who grows up to be a merciless hitman. And they are all trapped in the world of the Mexican Drug Federation. From the streets of New York City to Mexico City and Tijuana to the jungles of Central America, this is the war on drugs like you've never seen it. The suspense, thriller, and mystery had me sitting on the edge of my seat. 4. Pride and Prejudice, by Jane Austen. I am sure every one of you reading this has already heard, read, or perhaps seen the movie on Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice tells the story of the courtship of two very opposite characters in a world where courtesy and manners are integral. One of the most popular novels of all time that features splendidly civilized sparring between the proud Mr. Darcy and the prejudiced Elizabeth Bennet as they play out their spirited courtship in a series of 18th-century drawing room intrigues. Pride and Prejudice seem as vital today as ever, writes Anna Quinlan in her introduction to this modern library edition. If you haven't read this book, trust me, you are missing out. Go read it today. 5. Mindset, by Carol S. Dweck. There are two mindsets: fixed mindset and growth mindset. Mindset will open a whole new world for your growth potential. A must-read for your personal growth and development. If you feel you are stuck in any situation or any area of your life is not working as well as you would like it to, reading this book will create magic in your life. 6. When Breath Becomes Air, by Paul Kalanithi. In this day and age, humans are engrossed in technology and digitalization. Everyone wants to achieve quick success and wants fast rewards for their efforts, and it seems as if everyone is in a race, running fast to get to a point they are unclear of. When Breath Becomes Air is a memoir by a neurosurgeon who is grappling with his own terminal cancer diagnosis, is both gutting and illuminating. The underlying message in this book is to make the most of the time you're given. At the age of 36, on the verge of completing a decade's worth of training as a neurosurgeon, Paul Kalanithi was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. One day he was a doctor treating the dying, and the next he was a patient struggling to live. And just like that, the future he and his wife had imagined evaporated. What makes life worth living in the face of death? What do you do when the future, no longer a ladder toward your goals in life, flattens out into a perpetual present? What does it mean to have a child, to nurture a new life as other fades away? These are some of the questions Kalanithi wrestles with in this profoundly moving, exquisitely observed memoir. When Breath Becomes Air is an unforgettable, life-affirming reflection on the challenge of facing death and on the relationship between doctor and patient, from a brilliant writer who became both. 7. The Alchemist, by Paulo Coelho. The Alchemist is a parable about following your dreams no matter what obstacles get in your way will get you thinking, every time. Coelho wrote The Alchemist in only 2 weeks in 1987. He explained that he was able to write at this pace because the story was already written in his soul. The importance of dreams and ambitions is depicted so powerfully that the readers are thrilled with enthusiasm all the way to the end. I bet you will be hooked till the end. I completed reading this book in one night, exactly speaking for 4 hours. I was literally so curious to know what will come next, that I kept reading and didn't realize it was morning already. 8. The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now is one of my most recommended books. You must read this if you haven't yet. This book teaches that you are a miracle. You already have everything you need. You already are everything you want to be, and this book will show you how to fight your ego to become more content and present. It is a spiritual self-help guide to help us discover our true being, release our pain, and find deep inner peace. When we are intensely present in the now, we respond from deep consciousness and flow with ease and joy in life. 9. The Millionaire Fastlane, Crack the Code to Wealth and Live Rich for a Lifetime, by M.J. DeMarco. One of the best books I've read about becoming a millionaire has been The Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco. He lays out mathematically and practically exactly what it takes to become a multi-millionaire, which he became in less than a decade by starting and selling his own businesses. There's a fast lane to millions, a shortcut paved by mathematics, where you can live rich now versus dying rich later. Instead, you've been brainwashed by an army of financial gurus who pitch a dream-killing dogma known as get rich slow. Their suffocating plan promises elderly riches by recklessly gambling your financial future to the whims of the stock market, the job market, and the housing market. Don't live poor only to die rich. Reject Wall Street's financial plan of hope and pray, switch lanes, go fast lane, and win financial freedom young, not old. 10. Tuesdays with Morrie, an old man, a young man and life's greatest lesson. Tuesdays with Morrie, written by Mitch Albom, is a wonderful book about the meaning of life and life's most important lessons. When Albom reconnects with his former college professor, Morrie, in the final months of his life, he's given a rare chance to absorb some of the old man's wisdom before it's too late. With this book, so can we. Morrie taught the author the practice of forgiveness. Not only to others, but as well as to himself. We may regret the things we did in the past, but not everything is within our control. Not letting go of it won't change anything, but a better outlook for the future might. A very real book, you must read it if you haven't yet. 11. The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself, by Michael A. Singer. What would it be like to free yourself from limitations and soar beyond your boundaries? What can you do each day to discover inner peace and serenity? The Untethered Soul offers simple yet profound answers to these questions. You'll discover what you can do to put an end to the habitual thoughts and emotions that limit your consciousness. By tapping into traditions of meditation and mindfulness, author and spiritual teacher Michael A. Singer shows how the development of consciousness can enable us all to dwell in the present moment and let go of painful thoughts and memories that keep us from achieving happiness and self-realization. Finally, with perfect clarity, this book opens the door to a life lived in the freedom of your innermost being. 12. Make Your Bed, Little Things That Can Change Your Life, and Maybe the World, Admiral William H. McRaven. Make Your Bed should be read by every leader in America, Wall Street Journal. As McRaven said in his speech to grads, if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. He shares the 10 principles he learned during Navy SEAL training that helped him overcome challenges not only in his training and long naval career but also throughout his life, and he explains how anyone can use these basic lessons to change themselves and the world for the better. 13. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, by Mark Manson. For decades, we've been told that positive thinking is the key to a happy, rich life. F***K positivity, Mark Manson says. Let's be honest, shit is fucked, and we have to live with it. Human beings are flawed and limited, not everybody can be extraordinary, there are winners and losers in society, and some of it is not fair or your fault. Manson advises us to get to know our limitations and accept them. Once we embrace our fears, faults, and uncertainties, once we stop running and avoiding and start confronting painful truths, we can begin to find the courage, perseverance, honesty, responsibility, curiosity, and forgiveness we seek. There are only so many things we can give a fuck about, so we need to figure out which ones really matter, Manson makes clear. While money is nice, caring about what you do with your life is better, because true wealth is about the experience. A much-needed grab you by the shoulders and look you in the eye moment of real talk, filled with entertaining stories and profane, ruthless humor. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is a refreshing slap for a generation to help them lead contented, grounded lives. 14. Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, by Greg McKeown. You can move very fast and have the life of your dreams if you become an essentialist and are willing to pay the price of choosing. Have you ever found yourself struggling with information overload? Have you ever felt both overworked and underutilized? Do you ever feel busy but not productive? If you answered yes to any of these, the way out is to become an essentialist. Being an essentialist is about a disciplined way of thinking. It means challenging the core assumption of we can have it all and I have to do everything and replacing it with the pursuit of the right thing, in the right way, at the right time. In Essentialism, Greg McKeown, CEO of a leadership and strategy agency in Silicon Valley who has run courses at Apple, Google, and Facebook, shows you how to achieve what he calls the disciplined pursuit of less. By applying a more selective criteria for what is essential, the pursuit of less allows us to regain control of our own choices so we can channel our time, energy, and effort into making the highest possible contribution toward the goals and activities that matter. 15. Think Like a Rocket Scientist, by Ozan Varol. A former rocket scientist reveals the habits, ideas, and strategies that will empower you to turn the seemingly impossible into the possible, a way to imagine the unimaginable and solve the unsolvable. Think Like a Rocket Scientist has made some serious waves. It was one of the top 20 business books on Amazon in 2020 and topped various other must-read lists. This self-help book is proof that you don't need to be a genius to think like a rocket scientist. With this book, you will learn practical tips for how to problem solve, stay focused, and achieve personal growth, no matter the area of your life. Ozan Varol reveals 9 simple strategies from rocket science that you can use to make your own giant leaps in work and life, whether it's landing your dream job, accelerating your business, learning a new skill, or creating the next breakthrough product. Today, thinking like a rocket scientist is a necessity. Think Like a Rocket Scientist will inspire you to take your own moonshot and enable you to achieve liftoff.